Hello everyone, welcome to SI UK Japan webinar. Thank you for joining us today. We are now live. Over to you, Korai.
皆様、こんにちは。本日はクイーンズ大学ベルファストのウェビナーにご参加いただき、誠にありがとうございます。大学の担当官であるキャサリン・マロン様をお迎えして、本日は当大学の芸術、人文科学、社会科学のプログラムについてご紹介をさせていただきます。ウェビナーの内容としましては、この後ですね、キャサリン様の方からプレゼンテーションを行いまして、その後、質疑応答を開催いたします。ご質問などございましたら、遠慮なくチャットにご投稿ください。それでは、ウェビナーを開始いたします。Hello, Catherine. I'll hand over to you now if you're ready.
Hi, yes, thank you very much. And thank you very much to SI UK for giving me the opportunity to speak today. And thank you to all our attendees for tuning in. So my name is Catherine. I'm the International Recruitment Officer in the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences at Queen's University, Belfast. So this is the university campus that you can see on my slide. It's so beautiful. And this building is called the Lanyon Building. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the university. So in terms of the structure of the session today, I'm going to introduce the university, a little bit about Belfast, because you might not be very familiar with the location. And then I will talk about the different schools and courses and opportunities that we have within the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences. So there will be quite a lot of information, but please do take a note of any questions and you can ask me those at the end. So this is Belfast in terms of location. So I'll just do a quick overview of the geography. So Belfast is on the island of Ireland, but geographically part of the island of Ireland, but politically and economically part of the UK. So it's this little area in black, and Belfast is the capital city. So technically a place called Northern Ireland, but part of the United Kingdom. But we do have the benefit then of having a unique culture and landscape due to being on the island of Ireland. And experiencing Irish culture, as well as some influence from the UK as well. So when students come to Belfast, they are free to travel around all of the UK. So it takes around 1 hour to travel to London by plane and most other UK cities as well. There are 2 airports in Belfast and they have a lot of links with other UK cities, as well as lots of European destinations as well. And within around 90 minutes from Belfast, you can be in Dublin. So there's a lot of other travel opportunities from Dublin, and that's a beautiful city to experience as well. So it is an ideal location for travel, and it's really well positioned, and it's a beautiful part of the world. The image that I've used in the background is just an example of some of the coastline as well that you can reach within around 1 hour outside of Belfast. So this is one of our famous museums in Belfast. This is the Titanic building, which hosts the Titanic Museum. So you might not know that the Titanic was actually built in Belfast. So we have a museum here dedicated to that. And it's something in Belfast that the people from Belfast are very proud of, the link to the Titanic, and it is honoured here within this building. So it's a really interesting place to visit when you're in Belfast. This is a little snapshot of the city itself. This is a picture of the City Hall here, the building on the left-hand side with the green roof. So this is Belfast City Centre, and the population of Belfast is around 300,000. So it is quite a small city in terms of population, but that also has its advantages as well. So it has everything you might expect to find in a capital city. but it is that little bit smaller and less populated, so it's easy to get around. It's the UK's most affordable student city at around 60% lower cost of living than London. So that is a really, I suppose, interesting thing to consider when trying to choose a UK university. So it has a really good cost of living. It's also one of the safest cities in the UK as well. So that's another key factor to consider as well. Our students generally feel very safe around the university and in the city itself. But it is slightly smaller. It's easy to get around, but there's still a really nice atmosphere. It still feels like a city, and there's a lot of social life, nightlife, and there's a lot to do in Belfast. So this is the university. This image in the background is the quad that's just behind the main building that I showed you earlier. And this is a beautiful space where it's normally really busy with lots of students and staff members coming and going from classes. And recently the semester started again, and we finally have students back on campus. And it's so great to see the student atmosphere again at Queen's. So a little bit about the university, some key rankings, ranked in the top 250 in the world, ranked in the top 30 in the UK, top 140 for graduate prospects. Some other key points, so we're part of the Russell Group. If you're not familiar with the Russell Group, it's a group of universities in the UK, sort of like Ivy League in the US. So some of the top universities. Other universities that are part of the Russell Group would be Oxford and Cambridge. We're the 9th oldest university in the UK. So the university itself was founded in 1845 by Queen Victoria. So that's where the name Queen's University came from, named after Queen Victoria. And recently we unveilered our new Chancellor, Hillary Clinton, which is really exciting to have our first female Chancellor of the university as well. So she was here last week for the ceremony, and there was a really nice atmosphere around the campus for that. So we'll move on a little bit more specifically to arts and humanities at Queen's. So arts and humanities itself is ranked in the top 250 in the world. And now I'm going to give you more of an overview of the types of courses that you will find in our faculty, the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences. So in the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, we have 5 schools. We have the Management School, the School of History, Anthropology, Philosophy and Politics, the School of Social Sciences, Education and Social Work, the School of Arts, English and Languages, and the School of Law. So today I'm going to give you a quick overview of each school. I have a slightly more detail of the Management School because we tend to find that that's the most popular area for international students. So there may be some more interest in that. But again, if there's anything that I don't cover in the presentation, feel free to ask me about it at the end. So this is the Management School. The building itself is called Riddle Hall. It's located around 10 minutes walk from the main campus. Another beautiful building that merges sort of very historic and old style along with modern buildings as well. So there is a lecture theatre at Riddle Hall, mainly for postgraduate students, but this is where all of the teaching staff are based. So if you do study a course in the Management School, you will find yourself going to Riddle Hall to visit your academic. And it's really worth going to have a look around as well because it's a really nice location. Some key points about the Management School then. So ranked in the top 200 for business and economics, top 10 in the UK for accounting and finance. We're ranked consistently in the top 10 in the UK for accounting and finance and have done so over the last number of years. In terms of industry engagement, we have a placement office. So some of our undergraduate courses have placements in the 3rd year. Our MSc in marketing has a placement in the final semester. And then our placement office also work to promote your employability and help you with your CV and interview skills and things like that to make sure that you're successful in the future. And they also do that through masterclasses from industry experts, and they host careers fairs on campus too. And then we have a training room. So for students who are interested in finance or a finance related program, we have a suite of 12 Bloomberg terminals up at Riddle Hall. So that's sort of embedded into some of the programs and also used within the Student Trading Club. But I do have a little bit more information about that as well. And we recently received EQUIS accreditation for the management skill. So study pods and social space. So we have, of the little pods outside, you can fit, I think, around 6 people in each. And there's 4 of these little pods in total. This was just something extra to add to the campus at Riddle Hall and to give students more space to socialize or study in between classes. And they are really cool. They look a little bit futuristic. And they add a really nice dimension to the campus at Riddle Hall. And then this is a digital mock-up of the brand new building that is underway at Riddle Hall as well. So they're expanding their facilities, and this building should hopefully be completed by 2023. So it's a really exciting development for the management school to be expanding its facilities as well. So I did mention the trading room already. Again, it is part of some of the courses, so embedded into the finance programs, for example. And the students learn how to use the Bloomberg software, so they're prepared in advance of either going on to do their 3rd-year placement if they're in an undergraduate program, or before they graduate and go out into the real world. They already know how to use the software that's used in most trading and investment type companies. And then in addition to what you learn in the classroom, there's also an opportunity to join one of our student societies, which is called the Student Managed Fund. So the fund is an investment fund, a real life investment fund of £50,000. So that is one of the biggest student funds in the UK. So the money comes from some sponsors, it comes from our alumni office, and it comes also any gains that the students make in the previous years reinvested back into the fund. So it's an excellent experience to learn how to manage an investment fund. It's set up like a real business. There's CEOs, CFOs, a group of analysts that all work to make sure that the investments are being made in the right places and they're going to have a positive impact on the fund. So it's a really, really exciting part of the management school. And this is just an overview of some of our key programs. So if you're interested in postgraduate, we have accounting and finance, business analytics, economics, finance, human resource management, international business, management, marketing, and then three finance programs in total. So I mentioned the MSc Finance already. Then we also have quantitative finance and risk and investment management, and of course our MBA program as well. We do have 2 new programs coming for 2022 intake as well, which is operations and supply chain management and the MSc in actuarial science. These courses are still in the final stages of development, but they should be live and open for applications in hopefully next month or next September's entry. And if you're interested in an undergraduate program, we have 17 programs in the areas of accounting, actuarial science and risk management, business management, economics, finance, and international business with a language. And we do offer PhD opportunities as well. I did mention a little bit about the industry links and the placement team already. So they do organize and run a series of events and fairs. So they invite key companies onto campus in a fair or event type scenario, so the students themselves can meet and talk to people from these companies, sort of gain insights into what types of graduates the companies are looking for in the future, maybe get some tips or inspiration around what type of job that they might like to do in the future. The placement office also help prepare students with their CV writing and interview skills. So it's really important to take up all of those opportunities that are presented to you as a student. And then these are just some examples of the companies that we have good relationships with. So some of these companies you will recognize, like PwC, City. Others you might not have heard of before. They're local Belfast companies, but we do work with both local companies and international companies as well. So on to the School of History, Anthropology, Philosophy and Politics then. So a little bit about the school. So history is ranked in the top 200 in the world, a globally significant location to study subjects within this school. So we offer programs related to conflict, violence, terrorism, politics, international relations. So subjects like these are globally, well, the location is globally significant because of the history of conflict in Belfast. The conflict shaped Belfast and has shaped a lot of the content within the program. So it's all very relevant to study programs like that in Belfast. We also have one of the largest politics departments in the UK and Ireland, and close links with local government. So I did mention earlier that Belfast is not the biggest city in the UK, but because we only have 2 universities here, one is Queen's, we have really close links with industry, local government, and lots of different very important people. It's really easy for the university to gain access to these people because, again, it's a smaller city, there's less competition in terms of other universities. So that's definitely one of the bonuses of studying, especially within this school at Queen's. So these are some of our flagship programs. So for undergraduate, anthropology, history, and international politics and conflict would be our most popular courses amongst international students. And then postgraduate study, we have anthropology, conflict transformation and social justice, global borders and security, history and public history, international relations, violence, terrorism and security, and geopolitics. So the geopolitics course was brand new this year. We've just had our first intake, and we hope that we'll continue successful intakes of geopolitics in the future, but it's a really exciting new program to add to the suite within the School of History, Anthropology, Philosophy and Politics. So on to the School of Arts, English and Languages then. So ranked in the top 100 in the world, world leading facilities. So I'll talk a little bit more about the facilities in the following slides. Again, close links with local companies and the Arts Council, the BBC, for example. So the BBC have a Belfast headquarters as well, and close links with the music industry as well. And the Seamus Heaney Centre, you may or may not have heard of Seamus Heaney, but he's a famous poet. He was a Nobel laureate and a graduate from Queen's and taught at Queen's as well. There is a centre dedicated to excellence within creative writing and poetry called the Seamus Heaney Centre, named obviously after him. So that's a really exciting opportunity if creative writing or poetry is something that you're interested in. This is our film studio. So we do have a film studio on campus. The film industry has sort of been one of those up and coming things within Belfast. A few very famous TV programs have been filmed in Belfast or in Northern Ireland in general. So I'm going to ask a question to the audience. Does anyone know of any very, 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 very famous TV shows that have been filmed in Northern Ireland? If you know the answer, pop it into the chat box. I'll take a look and see if anyone gets the right answer. And if not, I'll let you know what it is. In the meantime, while you're thinking of that answer, I'll move on. This is our Sonic Lab, so Sonic Arts Research Centre, which is based around a 10-minute walk from the main campus. So if you're interested in music or sound design or audio engineering, then this is an absolutely fantastic facility that we have available at Queen's. So the Sonic Lab is one of the first sonic labs in the world that has been developed with 3D sound. So now apparently this is the audio equivalent to an IMAX cinema. So it's an incredible experience for students who are interested in sound design or audio engineering. So that's a really interesting sort of facility, something really excellent that we have available to our music students. And then these are some of our flagship programs within the School of Arts, English and Languages. So audio engineering, broadcast production, English, film studies, and then postgraduate, we have arts management, broadcast and media, creative writing, literary, the English literary studies program, and interpreting. So I'm just going to take a quick look in the questions. I don't think anyone got the answer right. Right? Anyone put the answer into famous TV shows from my previous question? But some of, no, not the X Factor. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is filmed in Northern Ireland. So Game of Thrones has become very, obviously a very famous TV program. And there's a lot of the film sets are still sort of, you can still go and see them all around Northern Ireland. There's lots of places to visit, and it's a really great way of actually traveling around Northern Ireland. You can sort of do a Game of Thrones tour, see some absolutely beautiful parts of the country, while also sort of experiencing what some of those film sets were like too. So there you go, Game of Thrones. And if you've heard of The Fall as well, it's a Netflix series as well with Jamie Dornan. He's from Northern Ireland, and that was also filmed here as well. So there. So this is the School of Law. Some of you might be interested in pursuing a career in law. So top 150 law school. In 2016, the university spent around £20 million developing a new law building. So really excellent facilities available to our law students. Again, because of the location and the relationships that we have in Northern Ireland, we have access to the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the NI Assembly. So students would get to visit the High Court and the sort of headquarters for the NI Assembly as well, and get to meet some key representatives too. So we often have a guest lecturer, a guest speaker from some of the sort of leading barristers or judges within Northern Ireland, and also hear directly from some of our politicians as well. Belfast, due to the cost of living, a lot of multinational firms are setting up their offices in Belfast as well. So not quite recently, we've had Allen & Overy and Arthur Cox set up offices in Belfast. So some of those global law firms are starting to make their way here. So that offers a lot of opportunities for our students as well. This is our moot court. So like our practice court, this is where the students take some of their classes and then they take part in mooting and practicing all of their skills. We also have student societies with mooting as well, and they've won loads of competitions. It's one of the most successful societies within the law school. So this is the room that they, present and they practice. So it's an excellent facility that they have available. It's set up like a real courtroom. In terms of our programs then, so undergraduate, we have the LLB, and then we have a suite of postgraduate LLM programs, so criminology and criminal justice, human rights law, international business law, the LLM law, and law and technology. And on to our School of Social Sciences, Education and Social Work. So again, the location keeps coming up every time, but it's so relevant in terms of the relationships that we have with local stakeholders. So for the School of Social Sciences, Education and Social Work, the key relationships that we would have would be with the police force and the prisons, and also higher education, other education like schools, as well. So police and prisons is particularly important for the criminology and like the social work side of the school. And then we offer a range of education related programs as well. So we're ranked in the top 100 in the world for social policy, 6th in the UK for social work, 11th for criminology, and 18th for social policy. And then our flagship programs within the School of Social Sciences, Education and Social Work would be criminology and sociology. And then our education related programs are the most popular for postgraduate studies. So we have educational studies, educational leadership, and TESOL, so teaching English to speakers of other languages. So we're almost finished my presentation. I just want to do a recap of why you might want to consider studying at Queen's. So a lot of these points I've covered already, but I just wanted to recap. So as I mentioned at the start, we're a Russell Group university, so really well ranked and well known and well established as well. So founded in 1845. And we have a beautiful campus. So this picture that I've featured here, this is our graduate school. So if you come to Queen's to study a postgraduate program, you would have access to the graduate school. A lot of other universities offer a virtual graduate school or a graduate school that's only available to research students. Our graduate school is open to postgraduate taught and postgraduate research students. Within this facility, there is a computer suite, there are study rooms, there are small lecture rooms as well. And the graduate school itself organizes a range of programs throughout the year to support your studies as well. So they offer academic writing skills, leadership workshops, and lots of events and activities throughout the year. So that's a really excellent facility that we have. We also have one of the best libraries in Europe. So the university, I suppose around 15 years ago, the university spent around £50 million upgrading the library. So it's now one of the best libraries in Europe. And then I did talk about the safe location within Belfast, but it's also a really friendly place. So a lot of our students would tell us that they do feel safe and very welcomed in Belfast. We're a very friendly bunch of people, and we do try to do our best to help where we can. So if we see a student who maybe looks a little bit lost or confused, someone will always stop and see if you need some help or directions to get wherever you need to be. And then the low cost of living for students as well, something to take into consideration when choosing where to study. We have a lot of accommodation options available on campus accommodation, starting from around £124 per week. And then there's also the opportunity to move into off-campus accommodation as well, which is slightly cheaper again. But there's a lot of options available for students. But that is really all that I wanted to cover today. I know that's been quite a lot of information. So please do feel free to ask me any questions. I'm just going to leave our contact details here at the end. If you do want to get in touch with me directly, you're very welcome to. And thank you very much for listening to my very long presentation.
Thank you, Catherine, for your very wonderful presentation. I didn't know that the Game of Thrones was filmed.
Yeah,
Northern Ireland. I didn't know that. Yeah, it's a very wonderful university and very good facilities. I hope students understand about your university. And okay, we got several questions on this Zoom chat and on YouTube. So shall we a Q&A session now?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, one moment, please. Sorry. So the first, so the first question is about the entry requirements.
Yeah.
One is asking if you accept Duolingo score instead of IELTS, but could you give any instruction about your requirements?
Yes. So we do accept Duolingo at the moment anyway. So I would have to just double check what the exact score is, but on our website, Even if you Google English language requirements, Queen's University, it'll take you directly to the page that lists all of the English language requirement and all of the tests and assessments that we accept. And you'll see what the score is there for Duolingo as well as IELTS. And we also accept TOEFL and a few others as well.
Okay, thank you. I hope it helps students. See, okay. So the next question is, I think I'm just gonna read the question from student B. Hi, could you give more insights on part-time jobs and maintaining college? So maybe it's regarding the employability.
Yeah, so part-time jobs. So if you come to Queen's on a tier 4 visa, your working hours per week will be limited to 20 hours per week during term time, but outside of term time, like during your Christmas or summer holidays, you can work unlimited number of hours. Some of our students gain employment on campus itself. So there are sometimes student jobs available. In our faculty, for example, we recruit some student ambassadors to help us with our sort of promotional and marketing activities like events. And we also have a group of ambassadors who work on our peer-to-peer platform, the ambassador platform. So we do employ students ourselves to do work like that. And there's also sometimes jobs available in the graduate school, for example, or the student guidance center. So once you enroll as a student, you get access to a portal called My Future. So that's where all jobs, official jobs on campus are advertised there. It's also where our careers and employability team post in like possible future career opportunities and jobs that you can apply for as well. So that's a really good portal that will help support your career and employment. A lot of students do often find part-time jobs off campus as well in local bars and restaurants and cafes. There's quite a lot of sort of cafes and restaurants and fast food outlets really close to the university. So a lot of students get part-time employment there. And then in terms of future employment, I did mention that some of the schools have their own placement office. The wider university is supported by our careers and employability team. So they offer one-to-one sessions to help you sort of prepare your CV and start thinking about your future career and help support you towards your goals and prepare you for the future as well.
Thank you for a very detailed answer. Seems there's quite a lot of chance for students on campus.
Good opportunities available.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we got quite lots of questions now. I'm gonna read the next question from student F. I'm interested in your art management course for master level. Do you offer an internship? If yes, can I do the internship in England or Scotland, or should I stay in Northern Ireland for the internship?
Okay, so as far as I know, there is the opportunity to do a short internship within the program itself. Normally with our placements or internships, as long as the school approves them, it doesn't matter what the location is itself. So students, for example, on other programs that have placements would often take an opportunity in another city as well, as long as it's approved by the university and it meets the requirements for the course itself. We don't want students going off to do an internship in something that's not directly related to the program or doesn't have sort of an obvious progression to a future career as well. So we don't want students going in just to do, the admin for a company, for example. But yes, it is possible. I'm just trying to double check there is an internship available for the arts management course.
Thank you.
Yes, so for this program, it's an 18-day working placement, so it's quite short. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it somewhere outside of Belfast. But yeah, if you wanted any more information, so whichever student has asked that question, feel free to drop me an email. I can get further clarification from the program director around what students have done in the past, some examples of the internships that they've taken, and the locations as well. I can do that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think maybe it's better to contact you or maybe the department directly. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so the next question is from student B. How is the industrial placement year carried out, if there is any, in an undergraduate course?
Okay, so for an undergraduate program that has a placement year, the placement would take place in year 3 of the program. So you would start in year 1 and year 2 would both be taught on campus. Year 3, you would go off and do your placement. And year 4, you would return back to campus to do your final year of study. So if your course does have a placement, there will be a placement module that is introduced within the first year, so that you start to sort of think and prepare for the possibility of going on to your placement. And then that will carry through into the second year of your program, where then in second year you will confirm your placement. And then of course in the third year you will carry out your placement. So I hope that answers the question. If there's for an undergraduate course, the third year placement will be a paid placement as well.
Okay, thank you. Student seems very keen of employability and internship.
Yeah, I think it's very important.
Yeah, I think that's the main focus of them, maybe in the all of the world. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next question. It's regarding the accommodation. Is there housing available for students through the university?
Yes, so we have a range of accommodation offered by the university itself. So it's sort of entirely up to the students' preferences and then the availability as well. So we have student halls called Elms BT9, and that's located around a 15-minute walk from the campus, and that's where most of our undergraduate students live. So it's got a really nice atmosphere of young students, like maybe some parties. It's got a nice atmosphere of with common rooms and common space, and definitely geared towards undergraduate students. If you're a postgraduate student, we recommend staying in our Willow Walk accommodation, which is close to BT9, or our accommodation in the city centre. So we have 2 accommodation blocks available in the city centre as well. If you prefer quieter living, you can include that in your application for accommodation. If you prefer to share an apartment with just girls or just boys, then you can request that as well. And the accommodation team will do their best to accommodate your special requests. And then there's also, depending on your budget, you can start off with a shared room. So a shared room would cost, I think, around £75 per week. But there's quite a limited number of shared rooms available. And then for a single room with an ensuite bathroom, so your own private room and private bathroom in a shared apartment, would be around £124 per week.
Thank you. Yeah, it seems quite cheap comparing to other.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a lot cheaper than London anyway. But by typing in accommodation Queen's University just into Google, you can find our accommodation page that lists all the different types of accommodation that we have available and all the prices. So if you do apply to Queen's for 2022 entry, accommodation applications normally open in January. And we do recommend submitting your application for accommodation as early as possible, because they assess them in order of application received. So yeah, it's good to get your application in early.
Okay, Thank you. By the way, this is my question, but do you offer any guarantee for international students, maybe if they apply by the deadline?
Yes, if students apply by the deadline, we will absolutely offer guaranteed accommodation to international students.
Okay, thank you. I think students make relieved. Thank
you.
Okay, so yeah, we really got quite lots of questions. So sorry, so the next question is from student E. Have anyone passed ACCA? I guess it's the accounting. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you're referring to postgraduate or undergraduate, but the postgraduate accounting and finance course offers, I think, either 8 or 9 exemptions to ACCA. So the course is sort of compliant with ACCA and does offer lots of exemptions. On the accounting and finance webpage, it lists out all the exemptions that we do have with ACCA.
Okay, thank you. So maybe students can refer to your website for more details?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Or you can contact me directly and I can provide you.
Yeah, maybe that's better. Okay, thank you. Maybe this is the last question from the Zoom chat. So do you offer any scholarship?
Yes, so depending on the course, scholarships start. So for most postgraduate programs, we offer a £2,000 scholarship for international students. For the Queen's Management School postgraduate courses, we actually have introduced a new scholarship of £5,000 for international students. For undergraduate students, we offer £2,500. And then we have additional scholarships. So we have a Vice Chancellor's scholarship, and that's a 50% scholarship that requires a separate application with a video submission about why you want the scholarship. There's normally 4 of those available, and they're highly competitive, but we do encourage everyone to submit their application. We also have an early conferment award. So if you confirm your offer by a certain date and pay your fees in advance, you get a £1,500 discount on the fee. And then we have some other scholarships available, like family scholarships and loyalty scholarships. So if you've ever had a family member study at Queen's, you might be eligible for, I think it's a 20% discount as well. Again, the full list of scholarships will be listed on the website, or you can contact me directly and let me know which course you're planning to study so I can give you accurate information about the scholarships that are relevant to you.
Thank you for your information. Okay, so seems there's lots of options for students.
Lots of options.
Yeah. Should they apply for scholarship when they submit their application?
So it depends. For most of the scholarships, they don't have to submit a separate application. They'll be assessed for the scholarship based on their application and the date that they submit that by. The Vice Chancellor Scholarship is the only one that requires a separate application. So you don't apply for the Vice Chancellor Scholarship until after you've submitted your application for the course and you've received and accepted your offer, then apply for the Vice Chancellor Scholarship. Just make a note of the deadlines. So I don't know the deadlines off the top of my head, but it's normally around April or May time in 2022 that the applications will close for those scholarships. So yeah, it's just really important to make sure you don't miss the deadline and make sure you fulfill all of the requirements of the scholarship. Make sure you have accepted your offer and that you've submitted the video.
Okay, thank you. I hope students get that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so sorry for asking many questions, but actually we got another questions from YouTube as well. May I read it for you? Actually, students ask in Japanese, but So the first question is about the work experience. Do you require any work experience to apply for postgraduate courses? Maybe it depends on the course.
Yeah, the only course at the moment that we ask for work experience is the MBA. So our MBA requires around 5 years, 3 to 5 years working experience in a management position. But aside from that, all of the rest of our applications will be assessed purely on previous academic performance. So yeah, no work experience required.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, MBA normally requires 3 to 5 years. Thank you. Okay. We're not sure what course he wants, but I think it's very helpful for him. Thank you. The last question is a bit complicated. How to apply to your university, the application process. Maybe could you give the briefly the instructions?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it depends if you're applying for undergraduate or postgraduate. So if you're applying for an undergraduate course, you would normally apply through UCAS. That's where you submit 5 choices for different universities or 5 options for the same university. So you would create an account with UCAS and apply directly through their portal. Of course, the agent or SI UK would be able to help support you through your application process as well. And then if you're applying, once you apply through UCAS, then you'll be given a deadline by which you have to accept 2 of your offers. So you would choose, your number 1 choice is your firm choice, and your number 2 choice would be like your insurance choice if you didn't meet the grade requirements for your first choice. As an international student, there's a little bit of flexibility around changing your options. And if you apply to 5 other universities, for example, and then change your mind and realize that, I want to choose Queen's, then you can still submit a separate direct application to Queen's as well. But whenever you want to accept our option, you just have to make sure you reject your other options in UCAS. But again, SI UK can help you, guide you through the application process as well. And then for postgraduate, the applications process is super easy. You can submit an application form directly on our applications portal. It only takes about 10 minutes. You just need to have your degree certificates from your undergraduate course or your transcripts or whatever you have so far. So if you're in the process of studying an undergraduate program, you can still apply. Just submit a transcript from, whatever year of study that you have completed. And then our admissions office will offer you, if you're deemed to be likely to meet the entry requirement, they will give you a conditional offer. And then once you fulfill all the requirements, so your English language requirement and the academic requirement, then you'd receive an unconditional offer. But again, SI UK can also help guide you through your application process for postgraduate as well.
Thank you for your answer. Yeah, of course, we can help to make application. Yeah, to make better quality. And please feel free to contact us directly if you need any help for making application, or maybe you can contact Catherine directly. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Actually, it was the last question. You too.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for answering very detailed for all the questions. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So I think we're at the end of the webinar now. Again, thank you so much, Catherine, for your wonderful presentation. It was very.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's such a fascinating university. I think it will be helpful to consider.
Hopefully we'll see some students from Japan joining us next year.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you to everyone who joined in today and for asking all those questions at the end. I hope it was helpful.
Thank you. Yeah, it was very, very helpful. And okay, so 皆様、プレゼンテーションと、質疑応答の方ご参加いただきありがとうございました。クイーンズ大学につきまして、ご説明をさせていただきましたが、今回ですね、キャサリンさんの方、メールアドレスがただいま画面に反映されていると思いますが、何か追加のお問い合わせでしたりとか、大学についてより詳しくお知りになられたい場合は、キャサリンさんの方に直接ご連絡いただくか、もちろん私たち SIUK の方でも、カウンセリングを通して大学のご紹介でしたりとか、アプリケーションの方も一緒に作成することできますので、遠慮なくお問い合わせください。それでは、ウェビナーにご参加いただきありがとうございました。本日こちらで終了となります。Thank you. So we're closing the webinar now. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.